You ever have one of those moments where something so unexpected happens, you're not sure if you're awake or dreaming? Yeah, that was me last month. And trust me, what happened that night is still messing with my head. It started pretty normal. My best friend Jordan needed a place to crash for a few days. His apartment flooded, some busted pipe situation, and while the landlord figured it out, he asked if he could stay with me. Now let me set the scene here. Jordan and I have been best friends since high school. He's the kind of guy everyone likes. Easygoing, always cracking jokes, that perfect mix of athletic and charming without even trying. Broad shoulders, surfer hair, that annoyingly symmetrical jawline that just isn't fair to the rest of us. And, of course, he's straight, as far as I knew anyway. I'd crushed on him back in high school, but I shoved that down years ago. He was the safe kind of best friend, the type where you know nothing's ever gonna happen, so it's better to let it go and enjoy the friendship for what it is. Or so I thought. Dude, I owe you big time, Jordan said as he dropped his duffel bag by the couch. You're seriously saving my ass. No worries, I shrugged, pretending like having him stay over wasn't sending my brain into a mild panic. Y casa es su casa. We slipped right back into our old rhythm. Ordering takeout, binge-watching dumb movies, and staying up too late talking about everything and nothing. It was easy, comfortable. Until it wasn't. It started the third night. We were watching some sci-fi movie, half paying attention, half scrolling on our phones. Jordan was sprawled on the couch, his feet resting against my thigh like it was the most natural thing in the world. Not unusual for him, honestly. We've always been that kind of tactile. Arm punches, friendly shoves, bro hugs. But that night, something felt different. Man, he groaned, stretching so his shirt rode up, exposing a line of tanned skin and the sharp cut of his abs. This couch sucks for sleeping. I smirked. Yeah, it's a couch, not a bed. He kicked my thigh lightly. Thanks for the reminder, Captain Obvious. Then, without looking at me, he mumbled. Low-key, you mind if I just crash in your bed tonight? I swear I won't steal all the covers. I blinked. Yeah, sure, no problem. Cool, he said, like it was no big deal. Like, my heart wasn't now hammering so loud I was pretty sure the neighbors could hear it. When it was finally bedtime, we both got ready. Jordan stripped off his jeans, leaving just a pair of gray boxer briefs and a loose t-shirt. I tried to act chill, but yeah, no amount of meditation could have prepared me for being 3 feet away from that. He flopped onto the bed, scooting over to make room. Promise I don't snore. Much. I laughed, crawling in beside him, careful to stay on my side. Guess I'll find out. For a few minutes, it was fine. Normal. We lay there in the dark, scrolling our phones, making dumb comments about memes. But slowly, the silence settled. His breathing deepened, and I figured he was falling asleep. I rolled onto my side, facing away, trying to will my brain to chill out. Then, I felt it. The bed shifted. His hand brushed my back. Light. Barely there. I froze. A second passed. Then another. Was that an accident? Was he asleep? Then his fingers grazed my shoulder. Deliberate this time. Hesitant. Hey. Jordan's voice was soft, barely above a whisper. You awake? My mouth went dry. Yeah? There was a pause, like he was deciding something. Then I felt him scoot closer. My heart slammed against my ribs. He started, then trailed off. His voice was tight, nervous. I swallowed. Jordan? What? His breath hitched. I don't know why I'm doing this, he murmured. I've been thinking, and I don't know, feels right. Is that weird? I turned, slowly, until I was facing him. In the dark, his face was inches from mine. His eyes searched mine, confused, scared, but something else too, something curious. His hand slid up, fingers brushing my jaw. Tell me if I'm out of line, he whispered, and then he leaned in. I didn't stop him. My lips met his, hesitant, soft at first. Testing. This was Jordan, my straight best friend, kissing me. And I swear to God, it was only just getting started. The second our lips parted, the room felt completely different. The air was heavier, charged with something that hadn't been there before. Or maybe it had been there all along, and we were just finally noticing it. Jordan pulled back just slightly, his eyes wide, like even he couldn't believe what just happened. His breathing was shallow, shoulders tense, like he wasn't sure whether to run or stay exactly where he was. I didn't mean for, he stammered, then stopped, scrubbing a hand through his hair. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I breathed, trying to keep my own heartbeat from exploding. Same. He sat there for a second, not looking at me, just staring at the wall like it might give him answers. His fingers tugged at the edge of the blanket, restless, like his body didn't know what to do. Then he glanced over at me, and for the first time since I'd known him, years of late-night talks, stupid pranks, road trips, and everything in between, he looked vulnerable, scared even. I don't know why that happened, he said quietly. I swear I didn't plan it. I looked at you and it felt, I don't know. I swallowed. Yeah, me too. Silence stretched between us, awkward but not tense. More like cautious, neither of us sure what the next move was. Then, unexpectedly, Jordan let out this nervous, breathy laugh. This is insane, right? I laughed too, shaking my head. Completely. But I'm not freaking out, he added, voice softer now. I thought I would. I thought I'd feel weird. But I don't. I don't know what this means. Me neither, I admitted. But I don't hate it. His eyes snapped to mine, and for a moment, neither of us said a word. There was no joking, no teasing, no pretending like we didn't feel what we felt. It was just honest. Completely, terrifyingly honest. Jordan shifted, sitting cross-legged now, facing me more fully. I don't even know who I am right now, he admitted. But when I'm sitting here with you, it feels, I don't know, comfortable. Easy. Yeah, I nodded. Same. Another pause. This one wasn't awkward. It was almost peaceful. Like something had shifted, and neither of us really wanted to shove it back where it came from. Jordan let out a breath, scrubbing a hand over his face again. This doesn't have to mean anything, if you don't want it to, he said quickly, eyes dropping to the floor. I don't want it to be weird between us. I shook my head, more certain now than I'd been all night. It's not weird, I said. Not unless we make it weird. He smiled. Small. Crooked. But real. Okay, he whispered. Okay. And just like that, something between us changed. Quietly. Permanently. The next morning, it hit differently. I woke up to the sound of Jordan rummaging in the kitchen. Cabinets opening, the metallic clang of a spoon against a mug, the faint gurgle of the coffee machine. It was so normal. Like every other lazy weekend morning we'd shared as roommates or friends. Except now it wasn't the same. Not even close. I sat up, rubbing my face, half expecting that maybe I'd imagined the entire thing last night. That it was just one of those weird, half-asleep moments where your brain mixes dreams with reality. But then I stepped into the kitchen, and Jordan was there, barefoot, hair messy, wearing one of my hoodies that he clearly grabbed without asking, like it was the most natural thing in the world. Morning, he said, glancing over his shoulder like nothing was different. But there was this flicker in his eyes. Like even he knew we were pretending it was normal, but we both knew it wasn't. Hey, I answered, keeping my voice casual but feeling anything but. He poured me coffee without asking. Like always. Like every normal morning before last night existed. Except now I was hyper-aware of everything. The way his sleeve hung loose on his wrist, the way his fingers tapped against the counter, the way he avoided looking directly at me for more than a second at a time. I grabbed the coffee, wrapping my hands around the mug, mostly to give them something to do. So, about last night. Jordan froze, mid-sip, slowly set the mug down. Yeah, he exhaled. That. Silence again. Heavy, not suffocating, but loaded. I don't really know what to say, I admitted, glancing down at my coffee. Same, he said, voice quieter. I don't know what happened. I mean, I know what happened, but I didn't expect it at all. Me neither, I said softly, but I'm not mad. I'm not upset. His gaze flicked to mine, surprised. You're not? I shook my head. No, I mean, yeah, it caught me off guard, but I don't regret it. Do you? Jordan dragged a hand through his hair, blowing out a slow breath. I don't think I do, which is honestly really freaking me out. I chuckled, a little nervous, but genuine. Yeah, same. He leaned against the counter, staring down at his coffee like it held the answers. I've been thinking about it, like, since I woke up, trying to figure out what it means. For me. For us. Yeah, I nodded. Me too. Jordan finally looked up, really looked this time. His eyes softer now, less panicked, more curious. I don't want this to screw up our friendship, he said quietly. That's the last thing I want. Same, I nodded, holding his gaze. But I don't think it has to. I mean, I don't even know what this is yet. Do you? He shook his head, smiling a little. No. Not a clue. We stood there for a minute, both sipping coffee, both letting the weird tension settle into something quieter, something less scary. Then Jordan set his mug down. I guess we figure it out, right? One step at a time. I smiled. Yeah, one step at a time. And for the first time since last night, the idea didn't feel terrifying. It felt right. The rest of the day felt like walking a tightrope. But in the weirdest way possible, it wasn't bad. Jordan and I acted like we always did. Kind of. We made breakfast together. We argued over which playlist to run while we cleaned the living room. We fought over the Xbox. Except now, every glance lasted a second too long. Every accidental brush of a hand made my stomach flip. Every time one of us laughed, it felt a little softer, warmer, different. It wasn't awkward, but it wasn't the same. Mid-afternoon, we flopped onto the couch, half watching some action movie neither of us really cared about. Jordan stretched out, feet propped on the coffee table, then nudged my knee with his. Just casual, friendly, but even that tiny touch buzzed like electricity. He didn't move his leg, neither did I. At one point, he sighed, tilting his head toward me. Can I ask you something? Yeah, of course. Is it weird that it doesn't feel weird? His eyes met mine. Serious this time. Curious. A little nervous. I paused, processing that. No, I said after a second. Honestly, I've been thinking the same thing. He let out a breath like he'd been holding it. Good. I thought maybe I was broken or something. I laughed softly. Pretty sure you're just confused. Which makes sense. Yeah, he said, leaning his head back against the couch. It's just, you've always been this solid part of my life, you know? And last night, something shifted. But not in a bad way. Just shifted. I nodded, feeling that too. Yeah, me too. We sat in comfortable silence for a while after that, letting the movie play in the background, while neither of us really watched it. At one point, Jordan glanced over again. Hey, can I tell you something kinda stupid? Always. He fiddled with the drawstring on his hoodie, the one he'd stolen from me this morning. Last night, when it happened, part of me thought I'd wake up freaking out. Like, what did I do? What does this mean? His fingers twisted the string tighter. But I didn't. I woke up and I felt, I don't know, like I was where I was supposed to be. For a second, I didn't know what to say. My throat felt tight. My chest was doing this weird, jittery thing like it didn't know if it wanted to scream, laugh, or cry. "Yeah," I finally managed. "Same," he smiled. Small, kinda shy, definitely not the usual Jordan smirk. "Okay," he said, nudging my knee again. "Cool. We didn't figure anything out that day. We didn't solve whatever this was, or slap a label on it. But we didn't need to. Not yet." It was enough just to sit there, side by side, knowing that something had changed, and neither of us wanted to undo it. The next few days were, honestly, kind of surreal. Nothing technically changed between Jordan and me. Not on the surface, anyway. We still argued over what to order for dinner. Still fought over the TV remote like we were 10. Still teased each other over dumb things. To anyone else, we probably looked exactly the same as always. But underneath, everything was different. It was in the little things. The way his hand would brush mine when we passed each other in the kitchen, and neither of us pulled away. The way he started sitting closer on the couch without saying a word, like it was natural now. The way his laugh felt softer when it was just us. And the way we both seemed hyper aware of it, but also kind of okay with it. One night, we were lying on the couch, legs tangled because the couch was too small for two grown guys, but neither of us wanted to move. Some random Netflix documentary was playing, but we weren't paying attention. The whole time, Jordan kept absent-mindedly tracing patterns against the fabric of my sleeve with his fingers. It was such a small, absent gesture, but it sent this steady, weirdly comforting warmth through my chest. At some point, I asked without really thinking, "Hey, you ever thought about, what this is?" Jordan didn't answer right away. His fingers paused, then started moving again, slower now. "Yeah," he admitted softly. Pretty much constantly, I turned my head to look at him. "And?" he sighed, staring at the ceiling like it had the answers. "I don't know, man. I still don't know what it means. I don't even know how I got here. Like I've always been straight. At least, I thought I was." He finally turned his head, meeting my eyes. "But with you, it just feels right. I don't get it." But it does. My chest tightened. "Yeah," I said quietly. "Same." Jordan pushed himself up on one elbow, frowning slightly. "Does it freak you out?" I shook my head. "No, not really. Confuses me? Sure. Freaks me out? Nah." "Yeah." He let out a breath, running a hand through his hair. "It's weird, but it also kind of doesn't feel weird anymore, you know?" I nodded. "I get it." For a second, neither of us said anything. Then Jordan glanced down at me, smirking just a little. "We're such a mess," I grinned. "Yeah, a total mess." But neither of us moved, neither of us backed away. Because for whatever this was, even if we didn't have the words yet, we both knew one thing. We didn't want it to stop. By the 5th day, whatever this thing between us was had turned into, well, something. Still undefined. Still strange. But real. Jordan didn't go back to his flooded apartment. Not even when his landlord texted saying the repairs were finally done. He glanced at the notification, stared at it for a minute, then just quietly turned his phone face down on the table and said, "Not yet." And that was it. It was like neither of us was ready to pop the little bubble we'd accidentally built. Our routines merged into this comfortable thing, cooking together, playing video games late into the night, walking to the coffee shop in the mornings like we'd always done, but now with this weird undercurrent of something unspoken holding everything together. The tension was still there, but it wasn't bad. It was like anticipation, like we both knew something was coming but weren't quite ready to say it out loud. Then, one night, Jordan walked into my room while I was half reading, half scrolling on my phone. He stood in the doorway like he was debating whether or not to even be there. "You good?" I asked, setting my phone down. He nodded, then scratched the back of his neck. "Yeah, I don't know. Can't sleep." Want to watch something? I offered, scooting over without even thinking about it. His eyes flicked to the open space next to me. Yeah, that's cool. He climbed onto the bed, sitting cross-legged next to me, like it was the most normal thing in the world. Except we both knew it wasn't. Not really. Not anymore. We queued up some random sitcom, something stupid and familiar, something that didn't require thinking. A few minutes in, Jordan leaned back against the headboard, legs stretched out. I felt him shift closer. Slowly, like testing whether or not it was okay. When his shoulder brushed mine, neither of us moved away. We sat like that for a while. Watching. Not watching. Pretending we were just tired roommates chilling before bed. Then Jordan tilted his head, looking at me out of the corner of his eye. Hey. Yeah? I've been thinking. Dangerous. He smiled, nudging my knee with his. Shut up. A pause. Do you ever, think maybe this wasn't as sudden as we thought? I blinked. What do you mean? He fiddled with the drawstring on his hoodie again. Like, maybe I've felt something like this for a while. I just didn't know what it was, or didn't want to think about it. I stared at him, my heart suddenly way too loud in my ears. You serious? Jordan nodded slowly. Yeah, I think so. Same, I said quietly, almost before I even realized I'd said it. He smiled again, but softer this time, like it was half relief, half realizing how much this conversation meant. You know, he said, nudging my knee again, this whole thing's kind of wild. Yeah, I grinned. Completely. But I'm kind of glad it happened. I turned, meeting his gaze. Me too. We sat like that for a long time. No labels, no plans, no pressure, just whatever this was. And for the first time in a long time, neither of us needed anything more than that. The days kept slipping by, but neither of us brought up the idea of Jordan going back to his apartment. Not once. His stuff stayed in a corner of my living room, duffel bag half unzipped, hoodie draped over the arm of the couch, sneakers kicked off by the door. And every day, that pile felt less like a guest mess and more like just part of the place now. It was weird how quickly the unspoken became normal. We'd wake up, make coffee together, argue over breakfast like always, him claiming cereal wasn't real food, me defending Frosted Flakes like it was a hill worth dying on. Then he'd toss me the remote, roll his eyes and ask, "Want to cue something dumb while we eat?" It wasn't some big romantic movie montage. It was just life. Simple, comfortable. But every now and then, something small would happen that reminded me this wasn't exactly normal. At least, not the version of normal we used to know. Like when Jordan reached over to grab the milk from my side of the table, but his hand lingered. Like he wasn't sure if he was reaching for the milk or for me. Or when he flopped onto the couch next to me, way too close, arms pressed together and didn't move. He just scrolled his phone like that was where he was supposed to be. Or when we both reached for the same spoon while cooking, and instead of pulling away, he laughed and said, "Guess we share now," like it was the most obvious thing in the world. There were no big conversations about what we were, no heavy talks about labels or futures or anything beyond what was right in front of us. But one night, something shifted again. We were sitting on the floor, surrounded by takeout boxes, halfway through a dumb movie we'd both seen 10 times. Jordan leaned back on his hands, looking over at me. His expression was different, softer, thoughtful. You know, he said after a pause, I've been trying to figure out why this doesn't feel wrong. I glanced at him, and I think it's because it doesn't feel like anything new, he said quietly. It just feels like it's always been there. I was just too dumb to notice. My throat tightened. I stared at him, trying to process that. Yeah, I finally said. Same. He shifted, sitting cross-legged now, facing me more directly. It's weird, right? How easy it is? Like, We didn't have to figure anything out, we just slipped into this. Yeah, I agreed. It's not weird though. I mean, it's us. Jordan grinned. Yeah, it's us. Then, like it was nothing, like it was the most natural thing in the world, he leaned his head against my shoulder and just stayed there. No words, no big declarations. Just quiet, simple, safe. After a minute, he mumbled, I kinda don't want this to ever change. My heart thudded, steady and warm. Me neither. And for the first time in a long time, everything just made sense. It's weird how something can shift your entire world, but the outside world just keeps moving like nothing happened. The barista still got our coffee order wrong. The neighbor's dog still barked like it owned the block. People walked past us on the street, laughing, chatting, existing, while Jordan and I were figuring out this brand new chapter of us. And honestly, it felt like a secret, but not in a bad way. In a good way. Quiet. Ours. A few days after the night on the floor, after the leaning on shoulders and the quiet admissions, I caught Jordan staring at me while we were folding laundry. Just watching. Thoughtful. Like his brain was running 100 miles an hour, but his mouth didn't quite know how to catch up. What? I asked, smiling. He shook his head, smiling back. Nothing. Just this. This? Yeah, you. This. His hand gestured vaguely around the apartment, like he was pointing to the air itself. I don't know, man. I guess I just didn't expect to feel this way. Ever. And now that I do, it feels like the most obvious thing in the world. My chest tightened, not the bad kind. The kind where your heart feels like it's doing something it was meant to do all along. Yeah, I nodded. Same. There was a pause. Not awkward. Just full. Then Jordan laughed, running a hand through his hair. God, we are so bad at the talking part. Comically bad, I agreed. But, he added, stepping a little closer, we've always been good at the other part. What part? This, he bumped my shoulder. The being together part. You know. Just being. I looked at him, really looked. The same guy I'd called my best friend for years. The same guy who'd crashed on my couch 100 times. The same guy who used to drive me insane with his terrible playlist choices. But now, something was different. And it was better. I smiled. Yeah, we are good at that. Jordan grinned, like the weight of figuring everything out didn't matter anymore. So, you still down to let me crash here for a while? You know, just until I figure things out. I snorted. Dude, you live here now. His smile softened. Yeah, I guess I do. He stepped closer, hooked an arm lazily around my shoulders and pulled me in, not in a dramatic way, not in some cheesy movie ending way, just simple, easy. Like we'd been doing it for years. And honestly, we kinda had. Whatever this was, whatever label we'd eventually give it or not give it, it was real. It was us. And it was exactly where we were supposed to be